Two major automakers are issuing massive recalls over unrelated safety issues. Toyota is recalling 2.9 million cars in the United States. It says potentially defective equipment could leave passengers unprotected during a crash. Affected models include some Corollas and Avalons that were made between 2010 and 2019. Now, Honda's recalling 2.4 million cars in the U.S. This involves some Acuras that were produced from 1996 to 2003. Honda saying airbags in those models may not inflate properly. The city of Oakland, California is the latest to make it illegal to ban people with a criminal history from public and private housing. Now, it's joining other cities like Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco. In most places where a background check is required in a rental application, people with a criminal background are typically rejected. Now, people supporting Fair Chance Housing say that this makes it harder for people to find a job and have stability.
I have both a civic duty and a moral obligation to give back to my community. We've all made mistakes. Who wants to be permanently punished for a mistake they have made?
John Jones III got out of prison in 2012, and despite his well-paying job as an aviation mechanic, he struggled to find a place to live, and he's ended up homeless. Now, supporters say that this ordinance should help end homelessness in the city. However, others have raised concerns about safety, many worried about whether it's safe to allow convicted criminals in communities. An Oakland City Council person who approved this ordinance says that these people have already been deemed safe to return.
The thing to remember is that people have already served their time. They are rehabilitated. That is why they are returning into our communities. And if we're going to give people a fair chance, it really means giving people a roof over their head.
Now, the measure in Oakland doesn't go into effect until February 4th. The federal law still requires landlords to reject people who have been convicted of manufacturing meth or if they're on the sex offender registry. One girls' basketball team is getting attention not only for their skills on the court, but also blazing a trail for young Muslim women. Tomorrow here on The Now, we're going to introduce you to the teens shooting hoops in headscarves.
Now let's take one more look at the next few days here. Temperatures tomorrow will be into the 40s, so a little warmer than what we saw today. Rain moves in late Thursday and into Friday and Saturday. Sunday will be dry. That's all for The Now Indy. The RTV6 News at 6 starts right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
It's a phenomenal feeling. I mean, it's amazing to know that you could save somebody.
High school students learning about cosmetology now say they are on the front lines of spotting skin cancer. We're going to show you why.
Parents concerned their kids waited for a school bus that never came, and it isn't the first time. Working for you, we go straight to a local school district to find out what is going on.
After a dry and cold start to our work week, changes are on the way. Rain moves in tomorrow night and lasts into the weekend. All of the details coming up.
The dire need to encourage and empower the youth of Indianapolis. I'm Stephanie Wade with how you can get involved today.
Also tonight, it may soon be illegal for you to hold your phone while driving. Tonight, we explain what would be allowed and what's off limits if the bill passes in the State House. First at 6, a high school cosmetology class is combining beauty with wellness.
They're now on the front lines of spotting skin cancer, an effort their instructor says was inspired after watching a segment on RTV6. Troy Washington shows us how these stylists could save lives.
A trip to sit in this chair can do more than just tame those tresses. It can mean cancer survival if skin cancer is spotted early.
Because we see the clients a lot more than a doctor would. We could see them once a week.
That's why a hairstylist is the perfect person to check the neck, scalp, and any other well-hidden areas for skin cancer indicators.
They don't see the back of their head. If you don't see it, you don't know.
These stylists are fixing hair and also finding red flags if there are any to warn clients about.
One of my neighbors, I was trimming her hair and I noticed a spot on her neck and I told her that she might want to get that looked at.
Since watching a story on RTV6 over the holidays about a certification being offered through Eyes on Cancer to help beauty professionals spot cancer, Claudia Hack took to heart the call to help.
It's a phenomenal feeling. I mean, it's amazing to know that you could save somebody.
In fact, she, along with 25 of her students, have completed the course and earned their certification.
We incorporated it into our curriculum in the skin chapters.
Though stylists can only bring the finding to a client's attention, sometimes that's all it takes to make a difference and save a life. Working for you in Lawrence Township, Troy Washington, RTV6.
The certification requires stylists to watch a video and to pass the test. McKenzie Center for Innovation and Technology students are challenging others to get their certification. To find out how you can get a discount code for the course when you read the story on the IndyChannel.com.
There has to be something done. You know, we as taxpayers pay our taxes for the education and for the bus system.
And this just in, IPS has confirmed a bus driver has been reassigned after parents shared their concerns with RTV6. We first reported this story today at 5 and just received this development within the hour. Parents reached out for help after they say their kids waited for a school bus that never came. Parents told us this wasn't the first time either. Tonight, RTV6's Megan Sanctorum is getting answers.
This morning, we just kept waiting and waiting.
Waiting in the cold for a bus that never came.
They always say give 10, 15 minutes. And, you know, we do that. But it's beyond that, you know.
Families in this Southwest Side neighborhood say the bus is supposed to come at 7:04 each morning to pick kids up and take them to IPS school number 49. But they say that rarely happens.
At 8:30, finally I was like, I'm on hold, go ahead and go home.
This mother is just one of several telling us calls to the district and the school's bus service have gone unreturned.
I'm just to my breaking point. I need help.
We don't know what else to do.
These families say this is not the first time the bus has failed to show up either.
It's hurting her school, you know, hurting her learning and stuff, because this makes like 7 times she's missed because of it. Because I don't drive.
And parents say when the bus does show up, it's often after school has already started.
They put her down to a D in choir, because choir's the first class. So she has a D in choir. All the rest of the classes are B's. I want her to succeed in this life. And not getting to school is not going to do it.
So now these families want to make sure the issue is resolved before others go through the same thing.
It's just bad.
There's no telling how many other kids are standing on bus stops that they've not called and asked for help. I'm begging for help to get my daughter to school.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And again, IPS confirms a new driver has been assigned to this route, and the other bus driver has been reassigned to another route.
Breaking news into the RTV6 newsroom. New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning has announced his retirement after playing 16 seasons in the NFL. Of course, Eli is the younger brother of Indianapolis Colts legend Peyton Manning, but Eli carved out his own legacy in this league, winning 2 Super Bowl titles. That includes the 2012 Super Bowl in Indianapolis, where Eli Manning helped take down Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Well, we had a pretty nice day today. Those clouds have filtered in, though. We saw some sunshine earlier this morning, but that is a thing of the past. Over the next few days here, we're going to continue seeing cloudy skies and some rain in the forecast. Right now, temperatures in the 30s. We're at 33 degrees in Indianapolis, 34 in Bloomington, 31 in Kokomo. That's pretty close to what we hit for our daytime highs today, and that's close to average. So felt a little cold outside, but that's how it's supposed to feel in January. And right now, you can see on our satellite and radar, we do have those clouds starting to filter in. We're going to continue to build in those clouds over the next few hours or so, and that's all due to this low pressure system that's just off to our west. You can see that building. That's really going to impact us as we head through our Thursday evening and into our Friday and Saturday. So the first half of our day tomorrow, temperature is not going to be as cold to start as what we started today. In the low 30s, we'll climb into the low 40s. Rain moves in the late afternoon and early evening, sticking with us into the weekend. All of those details coming up in just a few minutes.
Community advocates say there is a dire need for mentors to encourage and empower the youth of Indianapolis. January is National Mentoring Month, and RTV6's Stephanie Wade is talking with a group that helps hundreds of kids in our community, but says there's much more work to do.
Every day, the wait list is growing here at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana, a program that plays a pivotal role in impacting young people's lives. Right now, there are 1,200 kids just wanting someone to look up to.
There's something that a female just can't replace with a male when they grow up without a father.
And that's where Will Ramey was in life at 9 years old when his single mother signed him up to be a little brother.
Being with Will helped me think about my future more.
Doug Shreve.
And so being with him was inspiring for me to be a better person.
Would become his mentor, his big brother.
I had never had a brother. I grew up with sisters. You know, when I first met Will, it was like, what do I do with this guy?
Quickly, their connection grew much deeper.
It wasn't just Will is my little brother, Will is my brother.
Now graduated, and years later, they still meet once a week for coffee.
He showed me that the worldly view of what a man is, it isn't necessarily what a man truly is, you know? And I feel like without that influence in my life, things may have been a lot different.
We do see kids do well academically, avoid risky behaviors, develop socially and emotionally in ways that help them grow up.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is currently serving more than 1,400 kids this year, the largest number they've ever had on record.
Having a mentor, someone who chooses to spend time with you and invest in you individually makes a huge difference, and it's measured time and time again.
But there's still hundreds more hoping they're next in line to have a life-changing mentor. 70% of those waiting are boys.
If you have a pull to do it, it's for a reason. You may not be able to quantify what that reason is right now, but the really good stuff in life isn't quantifiable anyway. And you should take a risk and get going and do it.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
To learn more about how to apply or what the process is like to become a big brother or big sister, we will attach a link on our website at theindychannel.com.
Tonight, Ball State University says it is investigating an incident in class involving a professor and a student, and it was caught on camera.
All right, you want to sit here or do you want to leave?
Why am I moving in the middle of class? He legit stopped the class to try to move me. I've been back here on this PowerPoint.
Are you being disruptive in the class?
No, I'm not doing nothing. The whole damn class is here. It's cool. It's cool. You know what? I'm going to leave.
He's been on our work the whole time with it.
This video was posted by another student in a marketing class on Tuesday. The student says Ball State police were called by the instructor, supposedly because another student refused a request to move to a different seat. When the video appeared on social media, a student using this Twitter account said that he was the student who had police called on him, telling Ball State that he was disappointed. Well, this afternoon, Ball State University released a statement, and this is a portion of it, quote, "In this particular situation, in addition to talking with those involved and putting educational and preventative measures in place, the faculty member also sent his own apology to the students in the class. As an institution, we will use this situation to learn and to improve," end quote.
A woman found dead after fire ripped through an East Side house.
Now investigators are trying to figure out what caused the fire, and that tops the RTV6 news feed. The Indianapolis Fire Department says several people called 911 around 6 a.m. because they heard a loud boom and then saw a fire. Firefighters rushed to the 1900 block of Kildare Avenue and found a house on fire. Firefighters found a 65-year-old woman dead in the home. A dog also died in this. Crews took 2 other dogs to an animal hospital to be checked out.
Charges have been dismissed against a man in a 25-year-old murder case. The Marion County prosecutor has dismissed murder charges against Carl Tyler. Last year, Tyler was charged in the 1995 murder of Tammy Serber. Serber's body was discovered near the side of the road in the 1200 block of South Bade Road on Indianapolis's east side in November of 1995. An autopsy then found the cause of death to be strangulation along with other wounds. Problems with the evidence forced the prosecutor to drop the charges against Tyler.
Fallout tonight after a brawl at a college basketball game between rivals Kansas and Kansas State. Kansas has suspended forward Silvio De Sousa indefinitely for his role in the melee at the end of the game. De Sousa took exception to Kansas State's aggressive play as he was trying to dribble out the clock. Well, at one point, De Sousa was preparing to swing a stool when an assistant coach grabbed it from his hands. Several other players could also face punishment.
Be aware if you plan to drive around downtown Indianapolis in the next 24 hours. 3 lanes of Pennsylvania Street are closed for sewer work. That's according to Citizens Energy. The lanes are closed on Pennsylvania between New York and Washington Streets and are expected to reopen tomorrow evening. Citizens Energy says crews are rehabilitating some sewers because in many cases they date back to the late 1800s and early 1900s.
It could soon be illegal to hold your phone while driving, a proposal designed to curb distracted driving in Indiana. The bill wouldn't affect you if you have your phone mounted on the dashboard or if you use Bluetooth or a speaker, just if you're physically holding it while driving. It passed a House committee today, but it's unclear how much support it will receive in the full House. There have been some criticisms that it's not the government's place to make that decision for drivers. Westfield Mayor Andy Cook testified in support of the proposal today.
And I know we're hearing some of that, even from members of my own Republican Party, about this infringing on our rights. And my response to that is, what about my rights as a grandfather? What about the rights of my wife and grandmother?
The bill will head to the full House for discussion. If it becomes law, it will go into effect July 1st. A new virus that originated in China is now in at least one person in the United States.
This virus has killed people in China, so we go to local medical experts what you need to know and why they say you should be more cautious about another virus already in the U.S. Alyssa.
And we had a chilly day today and dry conditions, but those dry conditions are going to be a thing of the past come tomorrow evening and into our weekend. Rain chances increase. All of the details coming up.
4,000 online at edmartinacura.com.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
A day after the United States confirmed the first case of a new virus that appeared in Wuhan, China last month, we went to doctors to find out what you should know.
A person who just returned to Washington State from Wuhan, China has been diagnosed with Wuhan coronavirus. That patient is now in isolation. Dr. Cole Beeler with IU Health says anyone can get the Wuhan coronavirus. The symptoms include fever, cough, and trouble breathing. Dr. Beeler says this virus likely spread to humans from animals sold at a Wuhan, China meat market. He says humans can spread it to each other through the air. 17 people have died from this in China. Nearly 500 people have been sickened there. As far as we know, only one person has Wuhan coronavirus in the U.S., and Beeler says there is a homegrown health concern that you should be more worried about.
To me, a much bigger risk right now is actually influenza, which is homegrown and it's abundantly present right now. So we do have ways to protect for that. We don't as much for this coronavirus. I'd very much recommending preventing what we can prevent by getting the flu shot right now, just so that you don't get sick with anything this season.
To protect yourself from Wuhan coronavirus, Dr. Beeler says avoid traveling to that area of China. And if you have to travel there, he says to avoid sick people, wash your hands often, and don't buy any animal meat in the area of Wuhan, China. And tonight, Chinese state media says the city of Wuhan is shutting down all outbound flights and trains as the country battles the spread of that virus. There are also reports that the city is asking people not to leave the city without specific reasons.
It's almost time for a new era at Butler. Let the cuteness overtake you. This 12-week-old English Bulldog will soon be Butler's new official live mascot.
Yeah, Butler Blue 3, known as Trip, is retiring at the end of the school year.
So Butler Blue 4 will take over. He's simply going by the name Blue. Now again, Trip is still the mascot until the end of this academic year at Butler, but Blue is waiting in the wings.
In fact, Blue will spend the next few months training underneath Trip to learn what it takes to be Butler University's mascot.
A lot of it's on-the-job training and just socialization, getting him used to a ton of different situations, including being in Hinkle with loud music and lights, and around basketballs and kids and people. So we've already started that, and he's met quite the group of people, met a lot of dogs, and just getting him used to as many things as possible.
Blue will make his public debut, I know this video, Friday night at 9 p.m. at Hinkle Fieldhouse when Butler takes on Marquette in Big East action. Yeah, he's just darling.
Being on TV is exhausting.
Oh, I know. Yeah, isn't it? Poor puppy. You know what? It's hard to follow that, but I'm going to follow it with some not so great news. Temperatures today were just right close to average. We are going to see a little bit of a warming trend, but it comes with a price, and that price is some rainfall over the next few days here. High temperatures today, right around 34 degrees in Indianapolis. Usually our highs this time of year are in the mid-30s, so we're right on track. Temperatures overnight will fall into the low 30s by around 10 p.m. this evening. We'll see quiet and cloudy conditions this evening. Those winds fairly light out of the south. As they are out of the south, that means we're helping usher in some warmer air, so it's not going to be as cold tonight as it was last night. And then we are going to see much better conditions to start our morning tomorrow. What's going on right now is we have some clouds moving into the area. That is going to continue as we head through the day tomorrow as well. That's all due to this low pressure system that's just off to our west. That's continuing to build into the area. As it does, we'll start with cloud coverage, and that's going to stick with us for our Thursday, and then we will start to see some rain as we head into Thursday evening. Tomorrow morning won't be as cold because of those clouds. That's going to help insulate us from that cool, dry air to the north, along with those southerly winds. That's helping usher in some warmer air. So tomorrow we'll start in the upper 20s and low 30s. This morning we started in the teens, so if you thought it was cold this morning, a little bit of good news for you. Looking ahead, we have that system just off to our west that will continue to build in, and then we will start to see those showers late Thursday evening. That will continue overnight Thursday and into Friday morning as well as Saturday morning. Now by Saturday, we're going to see some colder air filter in as well, which is why we could see some snow mixed in there, and we could see some very light accumulation with that. But as far as rain, not expecting a ton, maybe a half an inch on the high side. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast, temperatures today were in the 30s, tomorrow in the low 40s for Friday as well. That rain moves in Friday and Saturday.
Well, another IndyCar seat officially filled up today. Charlie Kimball, 12-year veteran, taking Novo Nordisk to AJ Foyt Racing, where he'll drive the number 4 for Super Tex. Kimball replaces Matthias Laced in that car. Kimball has one career win 6 years ago at Mid-Ohio. Who he'll pair with at Foyt, still not officially announced. Tony Kanaan among the odds-on favorites. Keep an eye on that. Good evening. Hard to think about the 4th of July when we're still here in January. But that's exactly what they were doing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today, getting ready for the first NASCAR Xfinity race on the road course. Brad Brown with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
The weather was the polar opposite of a typical race day, but the sound of a solitary engine signaled the start of something new at the Speedway.
When Mr. Penske and the whole, team asked me and Wayne and everybody believed in me and trusted me enough to come out here and do this test, because this is a big, this is a big, cool change for a really neat weekend.
NASCAR driver Matt DiBenedetto turning the first stock car laps on the IMS road course. This initial test ahead of the July 4th Xfinity Series race that will make its debut this year.
There is no doubt going to be some pretty physical racing, because there's a lot of areas not only to try and outbrake and pass in the prior corner to set up for those passing, zones and things like that.
The data gathered will help NASCAR decide things like gearing, tires, and aero specs for the race. They'll also decide whether to use the 14-turn setup we see in May or take out an extra curve for a 12-turn layout.
We want to put on the best show that we can for the fans. Definitely we want to make sure that the NASCAR Xfinity Series shines here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I mean, wow, what a place to come to.
The 12-turn course is spiked the old heart rate pretty good coming through backwards through oval turn one. That's weird.
As for DiBenedetto, he now finds himself as the answer to a trivia question. He won't get to race here on July 4th, but he will always have today.
The rest of my life, I'll be able to, say for forever that, hey, I got asked by, Mr. Penske to come and be the first ever to run the road course and test it out.
At the Speedway, Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
NBA tonight, Pacers West Coast swing continues. The place a lot warmer in Phoenix to take on the Suns. TJ Warren going back to where he played his first 5 years of his NBA career, and back at the Pacers complex only on 6 tonight. A fresh look at Victor Oladipo as his countdown continues. His return next week, a week from tonight. Been working out last 3 days with the G League Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Tonight on the News 11, we'll hear from head coach Steve Gansley. Says Vic is ready to go. The last chance we'll see him before next week. And Peyton Manning's little brother Eli announcing his retirement. Kid won games and Super Bowls. Nothing wrong with that. The News at 6 continues after this.
Thousands online at edmartin.com.
A dry start to our Thursday. Rain moves in late Thursday night and into Friday and Saturday. Okay.
And up next here is World News with David Muir. We're back here with you at 7.